Good morning everybody, Vasilis Girasis for ntmarkets.com. I'm sitting here this morning with Nicholas Furtak, my colleague.
Good morning to all the listeners.
Decided to do a bit of a joint effort this morning. We're going to look at a couple of graphs that we think are looking technically good. I'm just going to run through a couple of local graphs that we have mentioned in the last couple of webcasts and just run through them. They're looking interesting from on a technical point of view. Nicholas has also picked up a graph in the UK, Glaxo SmithKline. I think I'll let him discuss that one. But let's start off this morning with Sasol. We had mentioned that Sasol had broken a downward trend line, rallied up to about 390 Rand, and we saw it pulling back. Our markets have pushed up quite nicely back through levels again recently. But on this last sell-off, we did see Sasol go up to about 390 or so, now pulling back. We like this one for two reasons. A, it's come back to retest the downtrend line, and it's also on its 40-day moving average. So anything below 376, 376.50 would be buying this one for a long back up to the upside. The ZAR has consolidated, remained fairly stable over the last few trading days at about 8 Rand 70.
Even 880, 875.
Yeah, they're about over the last couple of days. So holding up quite nicely. We expect this one to bounce off these technical levels and move a bit higher. Another graph again, it's also coming back to retest levels, is Barolworld. We punted this one to look for a potential breakout through the channel. It managed to do that. Had a nice little run up to about 77, 78 Rand or so. Also sold off quite a bit recently. We now see it coming back and close to the breakout level, probably going to retest that, and then we hope that it does move higher. We are buyers of the stock at around about the 72 Rand mark, 72.50 thereabout. Look to buy and hopefully first stop to move back up to its moving day average around about 76 or 77 Rand or so. The other graph, which we also think is looking very good, is Steinhoff International. Steinhoff, as we can see here, went out and made new highs at around about the 31 Rand mark. If we look at the RSI, looking at close to oversold levels near the bottom of the RSI, it sold off and tried to consolidate on its 40-day moving average, but then broke off and sold right through that, and it is now touching on its 200-day moving average. We believe that the 200 days shows a lot more strength than the 40-day, more conviction to buy at that level. So at around about 27 Rand 50, we would be buyers for a long, with a target price of 28 Rand 50 as a first stop, and should continue to run higher to retest those new highs of about 31 Rand or so. And then to just go back to Glaxo SmithKline, I'll let Nick discuss this one. Nick, what's your view on this one? You like this one? I know you mentioned it to me a couple of times this week.
Well, I like this chart because it's quite simple. It's there. It hits you in the face. You don't have to look too much at it. Basically, a year ago you had a low here around £13.20, and it was quite a violent pickup from that level. This we've tested that exact same level, so it's a double bottom. 13.20, we've been sitting there. We haven't had such a violent pickup, so for those who have missed the trade can probably pick it up around 13.50 with the stop around, maybe give it space to around 13.10 just to give it a little bit of room in case it goes wrong. The ideal level to buy here would be around 13.20, and this one can easily go back to 14 if we have our Christmas rally, which most analysts are expecting. Hopefully we can solve our fiscal cliff story, and you'll get a rally across the markets with ones that are near the oversold levels, or it's already recovering a little bit, but on the charts it's still quite low, good levels, and you could probably quickly get out around 14, even 14.50 if there's strength all the way to the end of December. So that's my chart. Another interesting thing I just want to mention on Sasol that occurred this week, they've just launched with a quarter in advance, they've just launched their own power station here in South Africa. Instead of working off the local grid, they're going to be producing their own power from gas. So, and that's quite going to be revenue enhancing from their point of view. So earnings enhancing. So that's an interesting one. I like it.
Yep, Sasol does look good. I like it too. Well, that's it, guys. We'll chat to you again on Tuesday's webcast with hopefully a couple of new graphs to look at. So this is Vasilis Girasis
And Nicholas Furtak
for ntmarkets.com.